Morning everyone, it's Dexter from A2K, and thanks for joining us for today's webinar, Accomplish Amazing Things with the Sheet and View tools in IdeateApps. So Richard Taylor from Ideate will be presenting for us today. So before we start, we'll just go through about A2K. We're all about fostering innovation through consulting and training. A2K Technologies plays a vital role in open infrastructure, building, mining, construction, architecture, and manufacturing industries reach their full potential by delivering complete technology solutions and support services such as education and consulting. We work with visionaries to shape the future of design and in turn enable them through innovation to minimize risks, improve productivity and achieve excellence. A2K Technologies is considered the business partner of choice and trusted advisor by vendors and clients. We partner with major software and hardware vendors to meet the client's technology needs. We strive to exceed client expectations by pinpointing their challenges and delivering solutions through experience and innovation. We work with clients and companies of any size, nationally and abroad. Over to you, Richard.
All right, thank you very much, Dexter. I very much appreciate it. Well, my name is Richard Taylor, and I'm coming to you from Boston, Massachusetts, over in the United States. So I'm not showing my video because I just thought it might be hard with some of the bandwidth, but hopefully my audio is coming over well. My background is in architecture, and I have over 21 years of Revit experience. I was fortunate enough to be one of the original employees at Revit Technology back 21 years ago. And then we were acquired by Autodesk, as you know. And then I worked for Autodesk for about 12 years as one of the product managers and various other roles at Autodesk. And then I worked in large and small architecture firms. I'm always happy to connect with people. If you'd like to connect with me on LinkedIn, feel free to do that, or you can follow me on Twitter. Also, I want to say for the presentation today, if you do have any questions, we'll have some time at the end. So if you want to type your questions into the question panel, I'll review those at the end of the presentation. So we're here to talk about simplifying your Revit data challenges. Actually, Ideate software creates 5 add-on solutions to Revit. And so one of the solutions that we're going to be talking about today is called IdeateApps. And IdeateApps is actually a collection of 9 tools. And some of those tools are sheet and view tools that we'll be specifically focusing on today. So A2K Technologies is our partner in Australia and New Zealand. So if you have any questions, you can always reach out to A2K Technologies. So a little bit about Ideate software. We are headquartered in the United States, but we have customers all over the world. And actually we have support in various locations around the world as well. And right now we're known for our support. For many years, actually, we've been developing applications for about 10 years. Currently, we are releasing and updating on Revit 2018 through 2021. Within the next few weeks, hopefully, we are planning on 2022. As you may be aware, Autodesk updated their latest version of Revit, and Revit 2022 was released about 2 weeks ago. So we're going to be getting all of our solutions available on 2022 very shortly. And so we always support the last 4 releases with the updates. And what we mean by that is the latest and greatest features are on the last 4 releases. And then earlier versions are basically archived and we're not updating them. So as you can see there, 2017 right now and earlier. So as we move to 2022, it'll be 2018 will be archived and earlier releases. As I mentioned, we have customers all around the world, many, many customers in Australia and New Zealand, in the Asia Pacific region, as well as the United States and Europe and UK. And we do comprehensive QA testing with large data sets. And many of our customers are very large customers. And so that's one of the things that we're also known for is just the stability of our applications and the scalability as well. So as I mentioned, today we're going to be focusing on one Revit add-on called IdeateApps. But IdeateApps is actually a collection of 9 focus-driven tools for all Revit users. And it doesn't matter if you're in the engineering discipline or if you're an architect or if you're a structural engineer, These tools are useful and available for, like I said, all discipline, engineering and architecture disciplines. And you can see things like, we have a renumber tool within IdeateApps. We have what we call a smart delete. We have an X-ray where you can find hidden elements. But today we're going to be focusing on these last 4 bullet items, which is placing views on sheets, aligning views across sheets, copying sheets, because that's not possible in native Revit, and then being able to bulk create views with a series of rules and setting up those rules. So that's really what we're focusing on today, is all the sheet and view tools of IdeateApps. So as you see there on the screen, IdeateApps, has the renumber and the smart delete and the X-ray and the spell check, but it also contains the Ideate ViewCreator, Ideate SheetManager, Ideate Align, and Ideate Clone. So I'm going to be going through each one of those and show you the workflow that can really enhance your Revit productivity. So Ideate ViewCreator is the first tool I'm going to talk about today. And ViewCreator allows you to create new views based on a series of rules. And those new views could be dependent views, as an example. And it's one of the first examples I'm going to show you. It could also be a new view based on a different scale a different phase or a different discipline. Actually, it could be a different scale too. So it really, with any particular view properties, you can set that up. And then you can have the rule actually help you name that new view. So we're going to set up some new views first. Then I'm going to show you how Sheet Manager allows you to lay out those views on the sheets. You can drag and drop views from the left-hand side, where the views sort of dialog is showing you. And then on the right-hand side is sheets. So you can just drag and drop. There's going to be a lot of other tools where I can cut and paste and move viewports from one sheet to another very easily. And then our Ideate Clone allows you to copy sheets because, as I mentioned, in Revit, that's just not available. In fact, it's one of the top wish list items if you go to the Revit Ideas forum and to say, can I copy an existing sheet? And right now, it's just not supported. So this gives you the tools to be able to copy that, all the sheet, the title block, any 2D information or annotation on that, but also be able to control the viewports. Do you want to copy the viewport, or would you like to swap one viewport, like one schedule to a different schedule? So we'll go through that example as well. And then our Ideate Align is keeping those viewports aligned across multiple sheets, whether it's, whoops, because switches made it all automatically. So whether it's, a schedule view or a plan view, you're going to be able to keep those things aligned. Well, I guess it wants me to go right to the demonstration. So I got that set up. So let's switch over here. And today I am showing Revit 2021 because I thought that most people are probably using Revit 2020 or 2021 in their sort of daily productivity or daily project work. So if you're not familiar with Ideate software, once you install any one of our applications, you'll see that there'll be an Ideate software ribbon panel. So I'm going to select on Ideate software, and you'll see all the tools are available. And, like I said, we developed 4 other applications, the Style Manager, Sticky, Explorer, and BIMlink. But here, starting with Renumber and all the way to the right, are the tools for IdeateApps. So as I mentioned, we're going to start with ViewCreator. And you look over here to the project browser, right? I have a floor plan, first floor architecture. If I double click on that, you can see that basically, this is the overall plan, right? But what I've done is I've used, crop regions basically, and I've selected an east view as well as a west view, and I've set that up. So those are dependent views underneath the main architecture floor plan. What if I wanted to create those dependent views with the same crop regions and the same properties for other floor plans? Well, that's where or one of the uses where Ideate ViewCreator can come in. So I'm going to close these two, the east and the west view, and we're going to come over here now to ViewCreator. And when ViewCreator starts up, it allows me to select different methods, right? And I'm going to show you another one, the duplicate view method, in a moment. But right now we're going to apply dependence. So I'm going to select the views to start out with, right? So in this case, I've got a parking plan that has some dependent views, but I've also got that first floor, east and west. So I'm going to select those two, the east and the west floor plan. And I'm going to say next. Then I would say, well, what do I want to apply that to, right? I would like to apply it, and I'm going to select architecture just to show you what that's going to do here, because I'm actually selecting the same plan. But I'm also going to say, you know what, I'd like it to be on the coordination plan. I would like it to be on, let's say, first floor signage, mechanical, plumbing, and structural. So I'm choosing those that I want to have ViewCreator apply those dependent views. So I'm going to say next. And so based on that rule, it's going to go ahead and sort of give me a preview of the view and the naming convention. And we're going to see here that I'm going to get an error here in a moment. And the reason I did that, just to show you, was that, okay, it says create 12 views. I can't click on this until I solve this error. And the reason that it's giving me this error is because I actually selected the first floor architecture and I'm trying to apply the same east and west, right? It's already there. It's telling me that these two are there. So it's either saying, well, change the view name or do something else. But I can do a shift select on this. I can say delete. And now I have the ability to create those 10 views. So I have the, this with the, if I expand this a little bit, I have the ability to change the view name here. I can type anything I want basically, but the rule allowed me to basically keep the same east-west dependent view selection. So I'm going to go ahead and create those 10 views. And it says, okay, you did it. You're done. All right. And now you'll notice over in the project browser, I have, let's say I'm just going to go to the mechanical, and I have dependent views east and west. So there's the east and there's the west. And it has the same crop regions, but we've applied the information based on the the parent view, right? Which was this mechanical. If I double click here, this is the mechanical plan. So that was just one method of using ViewCreator, right? So now I mentioned, well, we've got that ViewCreator. Now we want to come over here to our sheet manager. And I like to think of sheet manager as sort of the centralized traffic cop, if you will, if there is such a thing like that anymore, where they're, basically they're routing the information to they're routing the cars or the trucks to the right individuals, or the right locations, I should say. And so the sheet manager allows me to access all the views, all the sheets, and allows me to create new views and drag and drop views on the sheet. And you'll notice that right now I can look at the browser organization here. Anything that I've already set up, I can select, or I can just say all views. The same way with the sheets, I can look at the browser organization and just say, well, I want to look at all sheets as an example. So in this case, let's go over here and create a new sheet. So right from here, I'm just going to accept my defaults, right? And if I look at the bottom here, as it selects, my last sheet was in the Z's, so it just said, okay, that's the next in the list. But in fact, I want to right click and rename that, right? And so I could just, in this case, it's a pretty simple situation, right? I just want to change it to maybe like Z.1, but I just wanted to show you the tools here, as I can say, actually ask Sheet Manager and say, find 8 and replace it with 1 and replace. So now the sheet number is going to be called Z.1, and then maybe the name, I'm going to call it coordination, right? And just say, okay. So the reason I did that was just so that we could see it here up in our list. Right now we have the sheet. There are no views associated with it. So remember, we created with our ViewCreator, if I come over here to floor plans, we now have a number of new floor plans. One of those is the coordination east and west. So I'm going to select the coordination west, click and drag and drop it over to Z.1. So that assigns the floor plan to that sheet which I called Z.1. Now, if we look over here in the background, I know I wanted to highlight, there's our finishes. Notice that we have, if I zoom up on this, this is a signage elevation. And maybe I want that signage elevation, I want to remove it from Z.7 and I want to bring it over to Z.1. So I'm just dragging and dropping. And because Revit only allows one view on a sheet, it automatically removes it from Z.7 finishes and puts it under Z.1. Then I might want to place a schedule. So I'm going to come down here to schedules, right? And maybe say that I want a door hardware schedule also on that Z.1. And if I expand that, you'll notice that you can see the viewports that are assigned to that. And let's come back over here to Z.1 coordination. And then I can start to lay out those views where I want them, right? Because now that they've been assigned to the sheet, I can say, well, I want the viewport up in the upper left-hand corner. I would like the schedule down over here to the lower right. And maybe I want this elevation in this location. Okay, so I basically now laid out the plan, schedule, and elevation the way that I want, and I would like to duplicate this. So over in the project browser, if we come over to our sheets, right, and I go to coordination, this is what I'm on. It shows me the active viewport. I'm going to right click and say duplicate, and it's all grayed out. Revit doesn't allow me to duplicate or copy a sheet, but we can do that now with our Ideate Clone. So I can come over here to the coordination, right, and select on clone. And here's where we're giving you the tools to kind of control the viewports. So, it's going to be called Z.2. It's going to be called structural, because I'm going to take this and it's going to be called the structural plan. So I'll say structural. And here is where I can swap the viewports. So right now it's saying you've got first floor coordination west. Maybe I want first floor structural west. And then for the signage elevation, what I want to do is have an overall building elevation, not an interior elevation. So I've got one created already. If I come down here, you can see I've got west elevation for structure. And then if a schedule can actually be on multiple sheets. So if I say current, it's just going to copy the door hardware schedule and have it display on this sheet. But I'd like to swap that to a more structural type of schedule. So I've got here this minimum compressive strength. So, if I'm duplicating views, I've got rules where I can duplicate the view and the name very easily. But in this case, I just swapped all these three viewports to these three new viewports. And now when I hit clone, it's going to copy the sheet, the title block, any 2D information on that sheet, which in this particular case, there really wasn't any 2D annotation. But it's going to keep everything now aligned in the correct location. So now when I select done, right, and I look at this, here's our original Z.1 coordination. And here's our next one, Z.2 structural. And you'll see that the floor plans are aligned. The schedules and the elevations and detail views will be aligned by the upper left crop region. Another thing I can do here is I realize that, oh, you know what? On this finishes sheet, if I fit this, there was a really nice legend here in the upper right-hand corner. So I'm going to come over to that finishes and look at that legend and say, right click here, and let's copy the legends. And we're going to come over to that new structural that I just created, and we're going to paste the legends and schedules. So now, once I've done that, I can come over here to our Z.2 structural, and there, if I fit this view here, you'll notice that we have the legend in the upper right-hand corner. So now I'm well on my way to constructing this nice sheet. So how did the alignment work? Well, in this case, I'm going to take this floor plan and I'm just going to, bring it off to the sheet here. I'm going to, basically not align it. I moved it by mistake, let's say, and now I want to align that. So I can come over here to align, right? And say, all right, well, what you'd say, what is your alignment view? Well, I'm going to use that, the coordination, and I'm going to use the first floor coordination west, and I want to align the first floor structural west, because that's what I moved off here, right? Because I'm in the structural Z.2. So I'm basically saying, that's what I want to align to, and I want to hit align, and it's going to pop right back into place. And you'll notice that I can also choose to assign a scope box. If it's not a crop region, I could do a scope box if I want to align it by that as well, which is a nice option here. So it's very, very easy to keep views aligned. In fact, what I'd like to do, I'm going to close this and I'm going to switch over to the demonstration or the PowerPoint slides for a moment. And I just want to show you, this is a video, and this is nice because this video shows you, it's a better sample. It has multiple floors. It's the hospital that Autodesk has. It's their sample project that you may be familiar with. So what I'm doing is basically assigning a scope box, and I'm choosing multiple floors to align to. So I have the first floor plan, and I now want to align the second floor, the third floor, the fourth floor, the fifth floor. And then I'm also going to align the schedules, across multiple floor plans as well. So notice that I'm now opening those up and just by double clicking, and I'm going to do a tile, and you can see that now all of those views are aligned based on the model coordinates. So that's really nice. You can do multiple, multiple levels at once. And I mentioned that you can align based on the model coordinates. We've actually added just a new feature that's going to be in our 2022 and subsequent releases. So I should say, it's not just 2022, but our latest release, which will be in a few weeks here. We've added the ability to align the plan views not only by the model coordinates, but by basically the centroid of the viewport. So if you have, for instance, unit plans or apartment or condo plans that you may want to have on a sheet, it's easier to align them by the centroid of the view as opposed to the actual model coordinates, because that may be, if you're aligning it by the model coordinates, it may be completely off the sheet. So that was a request by one of our customers. So we've made that particular enhancement. So I also wanted to show you some other things that you can do with ViewCreator. If I go back here to ViewCreator, and we're going to bring this up and just show you some of the rules, right? So you saw me the first time I applied dependents, and I was able to create new views that were dependent views. But let's say my task now is I want to duplicate some views, and I would like to duplicate them in a different phase. So here, I'm going to just look at the plan. So I'm going to bring all these elevations. So here's our floor plan. And remember, we have, architecture, we have our coordination, we have maybe our first floor signage, mechanical, plumbing, and structural. And I say, okay, next. And it's saying, well, what rule do you want to apply? In this case, it's saying, well, all of these, this is going to be you've already got a name called copy here. So I'm going to apply a rule called duplicate phase. And here is where, notice that I have the ability to apply a phase filter and a phase. So I can say, oh, this is going to be new construction. The phase filter is going to be show previous and new. And maybe the phase is going to be, I don't know, new construction. So I'm actually typing that in, right? And so you see up here, the actual name of the view is reflecting on what I said here. Now, let's say maybe I want to put a dash there, make it a little bit easier. But instead of a name override, maybe you want the name to be pulling information directly from the model, the parameters that you've already set up. So how do we do that? Well, I'm going to go over here to the rule. And so I'm going to show you a little bit of the secret sauce, if you will, behind this is that you'll notice there's the name of the view. It says, here's the phase. And what I want to do is, in this case, I would like to select that, now there's a constant here. I'm going to remove that. So I'm going to say, you know what, now I want to add a field, and we're going to come over here and we're going to say, well, from our new view, I want to come down here to phase name. So that would be P. Where are we at here? Oops. Type level phase. There it is. Phase name. Say OK. And notice it says first floor, detailed plan, new construction. I'm going to add a constant. I'm just going to do a dash. So I'm building this in the formula so I don't have to input that later on. And I now can move the little pieces of the formula so it's got the name of the view, the dash, and the phase name. And then you can see over here things that I can actually have the user interact, like the phase filter. If I wanted them to choose the discipline, I could do that as well. Now, sometimes the discipline and other things are set by the view template if I do assign a view template. So I have to make sure that maybe I'm not overriding something, right? Maybe I, like, for instance, assigning a view template as well as, choosing, something that is not within the view template, like a phase or phase filter. Notice that I can apply several view templates, and then I can assign, just like you can in Revit. So you can go over here and you can say, well, apply, let's say design options as an example, and then maybe phases, and then the actual view template is going to be mechanical or architecture. So you've got those abilities as well. So when I save and close this rule, it's a pretty simple rule. Just what I like to show here is the fact that now if I go over here in office renovation, notice automatically the view name changes to office renovation. So if I say, oh, you know what? No, it's existing, it changes. Oh, no, it's really the office renovation, it changes. And then I can say, well, you know what? The phase filter is going to be show previous and new, or demo. We'll say previous and new. That kind of makes sense. And if there's any discipline, in this case, I actually, since we've got multiple disciplines here, I don't want to assign a discipline, but you see, I can actually override the discipline as well. And so I'm going to go ahead and create those 6 views. And now, excuse me, I'm going to come over here to my views, my floor plans, and notice that I now have those. If I scroll over here, now I have the architecture office renovation, right? And then I also have the mechanical office renovation. So I have those views that I've created that are now different, has different view properties. And you'll also notice if I go down here to the phase, filter was already set to show previous and new, and the phase is office renovation. So, you can create hundreds of new views with all of the view properties that you want. So instead of copying a view and then going back and changing all the properties, you can set up all these properties beforehand and also help you name the views as you go forward. So some tips, again, we deliver Ideate apps with our sheet and view tools. Oops, automatically it has a going forward here. And what I want to do is actually, I'm going to just do that just because I don't want it to advance. So let's go over here to the ViewCreator. Basically, we're giving you basic rules as well as bonus rules. And so those are stored. We've got about 20 or 30 basic rules that you can load, that are delivered with the software. And then again, another 20 or 30 bonus rules that you can also use. So let's go back here. Now, some creative workflows, you can actually, as you saw, I can do ViewCreator, I can use SheetManager to create new sheets. I can even use our tool called Ideate BIM Link to create sheets from Excel that then can be used in Ideate SheetManager. And then, as you saw, I can put them all together, use Clone, Align to arrange, design options, phase, discipline, different views on sheets with the exact alignments or the arrangement between sheets. So a couple tips, as I said, when you're aligning plan views, it's going to align by the model coordinate. With our new selection, you also have the ability to align by the centroid of the view. For non-plan views like elevations, sections, schedules, detail views, it is going to align by the upper left crop region. And then, as I was saying, like when you tick that little check mark that says include prompts, that allows the person, when they're running the rule, to be able to change or prompt the value. So in this case, the person that's running the rule can then set the discipline, can set the phase and phase filter and scope, or actually just the phase and phase filter, because those are the ones that are ticked. So you can either hard code these, right? Meaning that if I don't have that, like if I untick that and I say discipline is architecture, it means that it's always going to assign the architectural discipline to the new view. But if I have it ticked to prompt, then the person running the rule has the ability to change that on the fly. And then, as I was mentioning, if, like in this case, if I tell the person in the rule, I say, oh, have them control the phase filter, but yet the phase filter has been hard coded and set by the view template, it's going to be grayed out because the view template takes priority. So in this case, I assigned a view template that sets the phase filter. Therefore, the person running the rule didn't have the ability to change the phase filter. So again, there's sort of this hierarchy that we look at when it comes to these view rules. And then, as I also mentioned, you can assign several view templates and then basically, or I should say apply several view templates. And then finally, if you choose to assign meaning that the view now contains or will have the properties of that view template assignment. So as an example, if you're applying, you may just apply like a design option as an example. But then when you're assigning, it's now called the architectural plan, and that will be part of that view until you change it. So I wanted to also note that we have many videos available on our website. So if you go to IdeateSoftware.com, you look under our support video library, you can see that we have specific videos around sheets and views, and you can actually look at a playlist. In fact, I'll go over there right now. So I'm going to bring over here to my Ideate software. And if I come over here to look at our video library for IdeateApps, and once that page displays, I can choose a playlist, and you can see here, IdeateApps for sheet and view management. And that will give me just the videos that are about view and sheet management. So you see here, being able to batch rename views, being able to copy legends and schedules, creating new sheets from unplaced viewports, basically several webinars that we've done that have a little bit longer content, but also shorter content of just a quick, ViewCreator overview, an Ideate Align overview, and so forth. So these are really nice if you want to learn a little bit more about the IdeateApps sheet and view tools. You can come to our website and look at those videos. And like I said, they range from just a couple minutes to a longer 30-minute webinar like what you're watching today. So you can always follow us on www.ideatesoftware.com. We have blogs that you can follow. We have a YouTube channel. So I hope you learn more about us. I don't see any questions in the question panel, but I want to open it up to see if there are any questions, or if Dexter would like to comment. Maybe I'm missing some of the questions. Dexter, are you there?
Yes, it looks like we have no questions at the moment. So we just wait for a few more minutes, just in case anyone wants to ask questions.
Okay. And well, I'm going to advance the slide. Just you can continue to type if you have a question, but for any additional information, you can contact either Ideate Software or info@a2ktechnologies.com, and your if you're working with a particular sales or account executive at A2K, they can have more information about pricing and bundle options with our other Ideate software solutions as well. So I'll go back to the questions and see. Don't be shy if you do have a question. Either that or I talked too much and explained it. Are you guys just looking for lunch maybe? Because I see that it's right at lunchtime. Well, like I said, I would encourage you to follow our YouTube channel, follow our blog, which has a lot of information. In fact, while we're still waiting for if people want to talk about or type a question, I just wanted to show you this, which is quite nice. If you come over to our blog on our Ideate software webpage, we've done a number of items where over to the left here, we have different categories. And one that I've been working on is called this wish list granted. And so what we've done is looked at the Revit ideas page and looked at all of the wish lists or things that people have requested over the last few years, and basically talked about how it's available now in Ideate software. So as an example, if I come over here that is very relevant to this presentation today, you will see wishlist granted, how to duplicate a Revit sheet with Ideate Clone. So I wrote this particular blog article, and basically, if you look at, there are on the Revit ideas page, a request to duplicate a sheet, request to duplicate a number of sheets, so from different people. This one actually has over 500 votes. And so what we've done, as you saw, we were able to use Ideate Clone to copy that sheet very easily. And you can see here that there's actually information that that you can click through on videos on Ideate Clone, going to our help for frequently asked questions about our sheet and view tools. So there, if you click on that, you'll go right to Ideate Clone for Revit frequently asked questions. So we do have quite a large online help system as well that you can go and review.